So on to AFC West record predictions. We can start off with the Chiefs.
Let's do it. I like it a lot.
Kansas City Chiefs, they were the best team in the AFC West last season. What are you expecting out of the Chiefs this season? Me personally, I think they're going to be 11-6. I don't see them winning the division. I think they'll come in second, third place. Depends on who owns a tiebreaker between the Broncos and Chiefs. But they're 11-6 in my opinion. You look at this schedule. To begin, it is pretty tough. You have the Cardinals week 1, but I think they win that game. There's no D-Hop. Week 2 versus the Chargers, since it's at home, I think they win. At the Colts, it depends on how good the Chiefs' run defense is this year. Do I trust George Karlaftis, a rookie? Do I trust these guys? Not too much.
Chris Jones.
Yeah, I trust him. Yeah, you're right. I think they lose that game, so I see 2-1. At Tampa Bay, 2-2. Raiders, Buffalo. I think they beat the Raiders. They lose to Buffalo. So that is 3-3. At San Fran, I think they beat San Fran, 4-3. They have the bye week. Then off the bye week facing Tennessee, I think this is where it gets slightly easier. Tennessee and Jacksonville, they beat both those teams. So the record I'm at right now, I believe, is 6-4, right? If I'm not mistaken.
You had them 4-3 at the bye week.
Yeah, 4-3. So
yes.
6-3
Mm-hmm.
versus the Chargers, week 11. I think it's a loss. So 6-4 versus the Rams, loss 6-5. I think they beat Cincinnati. So 7-5. I think they lose to Denver, 7-6. They beat Houston and Seattle. So that's 9-6. They beat Denver 11-6, and I think they could drop this game on the road week 18 versus the Las Vegas Raiders, which would make them 11-6. But if they do beat them, then they're 12-5. So I have them around that area.
I'll go next just because we have similar views and you might have a different view than us.
Maybe.
I also have them at 11-6. Going into this, I was kind of expecting. I thought the Chiefs had a chance to win the division, but they have the hardest schedule in the NFL.
That schedule is tough.
You know, they're playing out of division, like outside. First of all, the division's ridiculous, but this is for all of these teams. But they're non-divisional games, like at Arizona week 1. I think they win, but it's a tough game. You have at Indy again. I think they'll win, but on the road. Tampa Bay is an L for me. Buffalo, like they have a lot of games. The Rams that are tough. I'm not going to go through every one because Joel just did it, but I have them also at 11-6, coming third in the division. They're L's for me. Week 4 at Tampa Bay. That's a really hard play to place. You know, Tampa Bay still has one of the best rosters in the NFL. Week 6 against Buffalo. I think Buffalo gets their revenge. You know, I think they're due for a win against Kansas City. Week 6, still early on in the regular season. And then weeks 11 and 12 back-to-back. I have them splitting overall the division. So at the Chargers, that's one of their L's. And then at home against the Rams, I think they'll lose that game as well. Their last 2 losses coming week 14 at Denver and week 18 at Vegas.
All right, so I hear you guys, and I understand Kansas City, you got to trust them. You got to trust Patrick Mahomes. You got to trust Andy Reid. And you have to trust Travis Kelce. But there's one person that I didn't mention that's no longer a part of this equation, and that's Tyreek Hill, who has been the epitome of the big play for Kansas City. When you need a play to save you, when in doubt, Tyreek Hill, right? That's just usually how it goes. We saw it against the Bills. Tyreek Hill absolutely saved their season. He's been amazing for them throughout his tenure there in Kansas City, but now he's on the Dolphins. And you look at this wide receiver room, and I'm allowed to have my concerns with Juju Smith-Schuster, McCole Hardman, MVS, and now you add Sky Moore, now who you just drafted in the second round, who definitely has some good promise to him. How could I forget? Justin Ross, who, as long as he can stay on the field and he has that opportunity, I do believe that Justin Ross can have success. Justin Ross, when he was healthy and when he was getting going over in Clemson, was one of the highest touted wide receivers for his year that he was going to be drafted, but then he had a terrible, gruesome injury where he broke his neck. Then it really dropped his draft stock, and now he lands in the best situation possible with the Chiefs. He easily could be their best rookie wide receiver, in my opinion, so long he can stay on the field. But until that can happen, go ahead.
Apparently only 4 teams cleared him medically.
Chiefs being one of them.
Yep.
Wow. Well, 4, I mean, that's better than 0.
That's it.
Right? It's better than just the Chiefs. So, you know, you'll take that with a grain of salt. And he's already out there getting throws, practicing a little bit, and you love to see that. But I'm differing from you guys because I understand that Patrick Mahomes is this all-world quarterback, and yes, we all have him as the number 2 quarterback, 1A, 1B to Josh Allen. But I do have my worries about this wide receiver group, and it could impact some games. And now with the loss of Charvarius Ward, yes, you add Trent McDuffie, but it's hard for me, like you already mentioned with George Karlaftis. I don't know if I can immediately trust that Trent McDuffie is going to come in and be the shutdown corner. No Tyrann Mathieu also. This team took some hits. So I'm going to go through my schedule weeks 1 through 18, and we'll see where we have a difference of opinion. I actually have them dropping week 1 to the Cardinals. I understand no D-Hop. It's going to be this huge surprise. Kyler Murray in Arizona, going to be a little bit amped up, has a lot to prove this season, as I already mentioned earlier in the show. I think the Cards do take that game from them, so it's going to start the season 0-1. They're going to beat the Chargers in KC, excuse me. I have them losing to the Colts. That's going to be a surprise loss for them. Colts, again, Joel has spoken about them a plethora of times. They're a new team this year now with Matt Ryan, have more weapons on the outside added to that defense. They're going to be a solid team. I have them dropping to the Colts. Have them losing to the Bucs, so starting the season 1-3. Beating the Raiders in Kansas City 2-3. Lost to the Bills 2-4. Win against the Niners. That's 3-4 going into the bye. Now I have them going back-to-back against the Titans and Jags. That's going to be 5-4, I believe.
Yep, that's 5-4.
Going against the Chargers and the Rams, I have them dropping both of those games. So that's going to be 5-6. Have them beating the Bengals as they've lost their previous games to the Bengals, both of them, one in devastating fashion in the playoffs in the AFC Championship game. I think they get their revenge. Looking at 6-6. Next week against Denver, this is a game that Denver needs to win. Hasn't beaten Patrick Mahomes since he's been in the NFL. 0-8 against Patrick Mahomes. I think we finally get our W against him. That's 6-7. A win against Houston, a win against the Seahawks. I do have them beating us in Kansas City. Now I've lost track of myself. I believe that's going to be, there you go, 7-7, 8-7, 9-7. And then, yes, week 18, I do have them losing to the Raiders, giving them a record of 9-8.
So you don't think they make the playoffs?
Now,
That's gonna be hard.
9-8. For me personally, the only reason why 9-8 is going to be hard is because I have them losing to the Cardinals and I have them losing to the Colts.
Raiders,
you guys
were 10-7 last year.
Yep.
Right, they were the last spot.
No,
they won. They won the division.
The Steelers were the last spot.
Yeah,
they didn't. Chargers didn't. The Raiders didn't win the division. They
second place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they had the 6th seed. Steelers were the 7th seed.
Yeah,
I believe the Steelers were 9-7.
9-8. Okay.
So there's a chance that they could make the playoffs still, but that's where I have them right here. Excuse me, 9-8. Yes, yeah. Like you said, there's a chance they do make the playoffs for sure. I mean, they're Kansas City, but right now this is where I have them. They had some strong hits to their team, and
Go ahead.
But yes, we can look at it like, oh, I'm not the hugest Chiefs supporter, but I'm just speaking what I really see. They have hits on defense at the wide receiver position. They're not deep at all.
No, and then you got to think because what team is going to take their place? We were expecting the Bills to win the division, so Miami, and then in the AFC North, Ravens, Bengals, Steelers,
depending on what happens.
Yeah,
for sure.
So do one of those AFC North teams get in over or Miami? No, it's going to be a dogfight.
I'm with you.
I don't think the hits were that big, in my opinion. I think Tyrann Mathieu, there were times in the season where he just took plays off.
Tyrann Mathieu's a big loss.
And he didn't make tackles. He's
a leader in the locker room.
He took plays off, though. He took plays off.
I mean,
Charvarius Ward,
he's
that's a loss.
Second most important player on defense.
Charvarius Ward was a loss, but I think Trent McDuffie will be better than him.
Maybe in not year one. Right, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe not right away, but
it wouldn't shock me.
It wouldn't shock me either if he's better
in year
than
one.
Him. Yeah.
Charvarius was a difference maker for them last year.
Trent McDuffie is different.
We're gonna see. We don't
different.
know that.
And Tyreek is massive.
Tyreek Hill, I honestly don't think it's that massive of a loss. Personally,
okay. Explain.
You look at Mahomes' stats without Tyreek Hill. One, he's won those games. He's still averaged over 300 yards passing.
What's that sample size? How many games?
It's like 3-4 games.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mahomes has won those games. His touchdown interception ratio has been phenomenal. I think the offense is going to change. I do. I think they saw last year defenses started to catch up. They started to give the Chiefs more two-eye looks, which neutralized Tyreek Hill, and they said this way is not going to work offensively anymore. So I think getting Juju, getting a guy like Sky Moore, they're going to be a much more short to intermediate team when it comes to the passing game. And they're just going to keep drives alive in chunks. They're not going to have those bombs, but they're just going to keep the chains moving.
And one more thing I want to comment on is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We need to see something now. You have come in and you were the first running back taken over Jonathan Taylor, which we've easily recognized that was a giant mistake. Imagine Jonathan Taylor on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Scary.
Thank the good Lord that didn't happen. But now you got to do something, because now there's been so much expectation put on your shoulders, and you just underwhelmed tremendously up until this point. You're going to have a lot of opportunity, and you're put behind a fantastic offensive line. Give me some results.
I think Clyde's in a good spot. They brought in Ronald Jones, and I think
that's not going to be beneficial to him.
But I think it's good because he could be more used in the pass game, where like
Clyde.
he excelled. Yeah,
I'm
where he
with you.
excelled at
I
LSU.
agree.
So maybe taking some of those carries away, giving them to Ronald Jones, and have Clyde more involved in the passing game on those third downs.
That makes sense.
Or
I like
second and
that,
longs.
because Ronald Jones isn't a pass catcher,
For
no
sure.
doubt. But
Yeah.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire has a history,
Exactly.
at least in college, that he can do so. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so maybe the rushing numbers aren't there, but efficiency wise, maybe he improves.